If you haven't panic sold your AMC stock or your favorite stock, whether they are the so-called meme stocks or whether there are other stocks for the last 6 months, let me repeat. If you haven't panic sold your AMC stock or any other of your favorite stocks for that matter in the last 6 months, there are high chances that you will be massively wealthy. Let me explain. We're going to dive into three main reasons why actually I have this statement. The first actually reason that I'm looking at is the price action that happened today on AMC stock. And this goes back to what I mentioned on the price action that also happened on Friday. Remember, they were trying and they will continue to try really, really hard to keep suppressing the momentum that AMC stock is currently in, and some other stocks like Best and Best Buy and Beyond, the other meme stocks, just because they are already in panic mode. And this is just before what is going to happen in the next coming days, not even thinking about what's going to happen on following August 22, when we have the APE preferred unit stock starting to trade on oh man, it's gonna be interesting. So you can see that at some point today, AMC was down almost 7%, just like that, 7%. And on Friday, it was the exact same thing. It went up almost 7-8%, and then boom, at some point, it was also down significantly. Why? Just because they know being short AMC stock right now just doesn't make any sense at all. But the thing is, if they are not succeeding at keeping these below $24, $23 a share, it tells me that the volume first is still there. As of now, we have an average around 48, which is very, very good. Second, it tells me that based on what we're going to happen, based on what's going to see happening coming from earnings on companies like Walmart, Home Depot, Target, Costco, all the retailers, if things are positive there, I can bet you that big money is going to flow back into the consumer stocks, which AMC stock is one of the sector. All right. So there's already some people positioning themselves to see the big short squeeze happening, as well as the market is recovering from the lows in June. The second thing I want to bring up here is looking at what we have here on stocks like Bed Bath & Beyond, or maybe HKD, or maybe AMTD. So for the last month, Bed Bath & Beyond is up 222%. 222%. Now, if the same thing was to happen with the AMC, 222% will bring us back to at least a minimum of the 50s. Based on where it was at the beginning of the month here, that was around the 14. So it tells me that the whole short squeeze on some of these stocks that they call the memes, even though the companies are not memes, tells me that there are people sitting on the sideline waiting for this thing to explode. That's why we're seeing this continuing to run, even though they're telling us somehow that this is dead. So clearly, AMC stock is not dead. Now, on the tail of this, if you look at what happened in the market overall speaking, I'm just taking the NASDAQ here. The last month, the NASDAQ has been up 16%. 16%. It is still very down, significantly from what it used to be at the highest of the end of last year. But 15% in a month for an index as big as the NASDAQ is huge. Now, remember what they used to tell us, the retail investor especially, back here at the beginning of this month, right? In June, mid-July, early June, that if we don't sell our stocks, the market cannot find the bottom. If we don't sell our stocks, our favorite ETFs and mutual funds, if we don't get out and let them have control of our own, investing destinations and journey, then the market cannot bottom. But guess what? We did not. Actually, I did not. As a matter of fact, I doubled down as I do on a bi-weekly basis, but I also doubled down based on some of the dips that I bought on some of my favorite stocks and ETFs. But now the market has recovered without retail investors selling. So it gives you a sense into the narrative that the smart money and main media usually will use to trick some type of investors, usually the resale because we consider dumb money, into selling, whereas they want to get in at the very cheap levels in order to run this high so that they can profit with us being out. All right. So is that what is happening here with Beth Million and maybe AMC? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that my point is, if you haven't panic sold for these last 6 months when they were telling us that the world is coming to an end, then you learn something that will actually be very, 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 very useful when it comes to cashing out at very interesting levels, which ultimately can be for AMC stock something we've seen with HKD. Like the stock went from $20 to $2,500. $20 to $2,500. That is a lot of gain, and just in a matter of few weeks. So the key here, this is my third point. The key here is patience is actually what will carry us from where we stand right now, if you hold AMC stock or any other stock for that matter, to new highs. Why? Because I believe the bottom is in. I believe the worst is behind us. Now, it doesn't prevent, we're not out of the an event, a black swan, something else happening that we never anticipated to actually happen and bring us back to some of the lows. But my rationale is the reason why the market sold off aggressively, taking down AMC stock and any other favorite stocks with it was earnings are going to be weak, which actually is not that weak. Even tech stocks, and inflation has now started to cool down. So the reason for people to panic is now behind us. And that's why I do believe as we get from the 24th with AMC right now where we are to whatever new highs we're going to see in the next month, the next 6 months, probably, before that, if we don't have patience as we had in the last 6 months or 3 months, then they're going to win. They're going to win because they're going to trick you into selling, whereas the best is yet to come. That's why I say things. I may be wrong, but I guess time will tell. I'll see you in the next one, folks. Thanks.